Greetings and welcome to this edition of
Positronic.
I'm Barry P. Cook. Let's talk about the latest episode of Supergirl. It was called The Gauntlet, and it starts with Lena returning to the tower and being told about Nixley. Supergirl takes Lena to the Fortress of Solitude, where the living memory of a Kryptonian witch tells them about finding the totems and how to use them, though Supergirl only wants to protect them from Nixley. She's not interested in using them. Nixley, meanwhile, hones in on David's slingshot, the biblical David's slingshot, as the courage totem, and it's in a museum. And she tries to steal it, and upon being confronted by the Super Friends, activates it, only for something to go wrong, which causes it to break in two, when Supergirl zaps it, and she escapes, leaving half of it behind. At the tower, the Kryptonian witch takes control of Brainiac before explaining that with the totem broken, it needs to be repaired to reverse the effects of the energy that's now leaking from it, the fifth dimensional energy. And it was a pretty funny scene. I guess rather than exist as a hologram, she took over Brainiac, and he did a really good job. It was funny. Supergirl is also told that she needs to face a trial in order to facilitate the reuniting of the two parts, which in her case is reliving the night that she saved Alex from the plane crash and became Supergirl for the first time, before Nixley completes her trial to make the other half of it come to her. But Supergirl fails her trial, and the energy begins to affect people in the museum, because that's where the energy originally leaked. Nixley is forced in her trial to face her past as well, and we see how she was going to be punished for attempting a coup, but this time she kills her father, but it fails her. She fails the trial when she does this. Her thinking was that she had shied away from doing what needed to be done, and that if she did it in the trial, took courage and did it in the trial, she would pass, but she didn't. Meanwhile, the energy turns an iguana into a large dragon, and it starts attacking people. Both John and Alex are affected by the courage totem in different ways, so it causes them to act strangely. It causes Alex to be fearless when she really should have a little bit of caution about the things she's doing, and it causes John to be so confident that he just thinks he can talk everybody down from everything and get what he wants just with words, so he just doesn't take any action. He just keeps talking. In fact, he tries to reason with the dragon, and it almost burns him before Supergirl blocks the flames with her cape, and Alex tries to take it down single-handedly, so it was kind of crazy. Dreamer enters a very deep dream state, also fueled by courage, because previously she'd been afraid to go too deep into the dream state, but with the courage energy affecting her, she's emboldened, and she does it, and she can't be woken up very readily. Nixley is distraught over failing, despite killing her dad in the vision or in the trial, and the guy she's working with suggests that maybe she needed to kill her brother, but she couldn't, and therefore she failed the courage trial. Supergirl again fails her trial, releasing yet more energy. The Kryptonian witch encourages Lena to embrace her magic abilities so that she can block the effects of the totem and fix it. Lena, of course, isn't really keen on magic. She's more of a scientist, so there was some resistance there. Elsewhere in the city, there's a scientist who's trying to harness the power of lightning, and she's also emboldened by the courage energy, or the fifth dimensional energy, and she releases a lightning storm of massive proportions that's threatening the city. Nixley tries again to pass her trial, but she can't harm her brother, and instead she tearfully confronts him over betraying her, and is obviously in real pain about this event in her life. And it was a great scene. The actress did a great job. The thing is, this actually causes her to pass the trial, and it activates the totem and draws the second half of it towards it, or at least tries to. And Supergirl has to hold on to it to keep it from happening, because they don't want her to have the full totem. When the storm starts to get worse, Supergirl realizes that she needs to release her hold on the totem. She had it in like a box so that it couldn't be drawn to Nixley, but she realizes she has to let it go so that it can join the other half and start reversing all the effects that it was having on everybody while it was broken, so that the storm would end, so the scientist would be able to end the storm. Part of making that happen meant that John, Brainy, and Supergirl had to fly around the center of the storm, as well as having Alex blast it with some kind of ionizer. And Guardian shows up and starts deflecting some of the lightning bolts away from Alex and others with her shield. Both Nixley and Supergirl experience some kind of shared consciousness for a second, and then Supergirl passes out in the air and has to be caught by John and Brainiac. Later, Supergirl tries to figure out why she couldn't pass the trial, and Lena tells her about the fact that she's a witch and that she's going to try to embrace magic to see if combining it with her science knowledge will help them defeat Nixley. I thought this was a good episode. There was some substance to it. We really get to see into Nixley's past, and we get character development for her, which I thought was cool because she really is someone in pain. She's not just doing what she's doing because she's evil. She's acting the way she's acting out of pain. She's got, emotional issues. And I think it's always good when the villain is someone that you can sympathize with or empathize with, or both, because it demonstrates, that we're all human. It ends up being about the human condition and not just fights and pew pew and all that. And it gives actors a good avenue to go down in order to show their acting talent and to really get into a part and to really emote in that part. Whereas with a one-dimensional character, you really wouldn't see that. And this actress playing Nixley does a really good job, and I really feel for the character. And it's just going to make it so much better when she redeems herself or changes her ways, however that ends up happening. And I think it will happen based on this episode. So, excellent episode. I'm optimistic about the following episodes because they seem to have a clear path that isn't overwrought. It's pretty simple, collect the totems, keep Nixley from collecting them. So it's not going to be these crazy episodes where the motivations of characters don't make sense and seem to be out of the blue, which happens with some of the episodes, not only of this show, but others. So I'm looking forward to the remaining episodes. Of course, I will be back with a review of the next one. And until then, I wish you all peace and long life.